Jim Breuer.
Jim Breuer. Jim Breuer.
Jim Breuer.
Mike,
What's up, man?
how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
Cool.
So I'm in Tampa right now. And I guess by the time everyone sees this, I will be in Pennsylvania, Wilkes-Barre. That is, we have some extra tickets, by the way. So if you're going to the Pennsylvania show, just open up some tickets. Is not a whole lot left, but go ahead, get them. Go to jimbreuer.com. Tampa sold out. Naples sold out. I added more Naples show in June. I'm going to add a couple Tampa shows at Side Splitters and most likely McCurdy's in Sarasota. So last night, Mike, I was in Tampa, and why I play these clubs, Side Splitters, and this is where I get to work out material. And I wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure it was going to go. It was I was super excited about the newer stuff. Filmed the whole thing. I've got the kid here, James, there filming everything. Joe Sibbs here. Right now I'm in an Airbnb in Tampa. Place is huge. It's a really cool Airbnb. But you know what I'm doing today?
What's that?
So, I have a Patreon page, right?
Yep.
This completely blows my mind. So Patreon, you got to pay extra beyond. There's different. So the Patreon, I think it's like from $5 to $50, right? I don't know, a month. And it all depends what tier you're on, what you get, and all that jazz. I think $5 just the different podcasts, unlike here in the Breuniverse, completely different podcast. So with the $5, you listen to the Patreon podcast, and the Patreon podcast is more of it's fans. It's whoever the listeners are. Like if you're listening to Breuniverse right now, you're the one, and me and you there's a lot of just me and you conversation. So I take people, if you join Patreon, you're automatically okay to have you're on the list for us to have a Zoom podcast for everyone to listen to on Patreon. And to be dead honest with you, some of them have been one of my all-time favorite podcasts. And that's, do I put them on Breuniverse? I don't know. There's a couple I'd really like to put on here. So with that said, there's the highest tier, which is like $50, and I'm like, so with the $50, we do Zooms, private Zooms once a month, live concerts once a month, all this jazz. Here's what blows my mind, what I'm doing today. There's been a group of the VIP members. Once we started Zooming, they started becoming friends, like on their own.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And, me, Joe Sib, all that, we always talk about, man, we should have a brew weekend one time. And I'm like, I don't know if the following's big enough where we can have, I want to have an event. In my mind, I always thought like cool events. Like it's a 3-day weekend where one day I'm just talking about, it's coffee in the morning. Hey, we're going to go in this conference room. If you want to go, it's all good. You come in there and we're going to talk more about family and higher spiritual things, funny how God works stories. Then there's a show, then there's whatever. And then, we have a barbecue or whatever the scenarios. I can never quite figure it out. This group of Patreon members, they became friends, right? So tonight, right now, it's a Wednesday. They formed to see me in Tampa tonight. And they all, from one of the guys, like, hey, my best friend's a barbecue guy. He's got a couple acres. Let's have a weekend thing. They all flew in together, flew in to meet each other. So I'm getting all these pictures of them last night hanging out. I mean, they're flying from California, Texas, from all over the country to hang out and come see the show. And then they're like, why don't you come and hang out at the barbecue? And this was tripping my mind out because I went on a Metallica tour, right? Like I toured with Metallica. You know that, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
I did an arena tour with Metallica. And it was the greatest thing ever. And we will talk about that soon, too. I just made an announcement on Patreon about that. And I would see what they're called the black ticket holders for Metallica. And what that was they bought every show. There was a deal to buy every show. But what blew me away about the Metallica fans were every single night I would see a lot of the same people. It was a small group of people, small considering, it's 20,000 people in an arena, and it's the same group of 10 to 15 people from around the world. Korea, Sweden,
oh, wow.
Belgium, Canada, United States, everywhere, right? Australia. And they became like a family. They became friends. They go on vacations together. They do all this stuff together. They visit each other's family.
That's pretty rad.
It is.
Wow.
But now, I get it with Metallica. I just can't grasp that this is what's going on in my world. So I got a camera, I got James the Kid, the camera guy, coming with me today. I got Joe Sib. And my first reaction was like, all right, I'm going to go to this gathering of fans. Like, these are diehard fans. And some people are like, oh, you're crazy. You should bring security. I'm not going to bring security. I don't know what I'm walking into. My wife really put things in perspective. I don't know. Wouldn't that trip you out? Would that trip you out?
I mean, you got a group of people from all over coming together to meet you. I mean, I'm not in your spot, man. I'm not in your position, so I can't really, I know. I'm just, I don't know, blows me away. Like, and I've got this other note that I'm going to read to you guys, where this is the first week where I'm starting to reflect about, or really to look about the effects of what we put out there in general and how it comes back to us. No matter what type of energy you put out there, what type of messages you put out there, how it comes back. And they're all so down to, I've met pretty much every single one of the people that I'm going to be talking. I met every single one of the people that I'm going to hang with today from the Patreon, because I've done the personal Zooms and we did the podcast, and it's really fascinating to see it just blows me away that they formed their own little thing and they're becoming it's weird. That's cool, man. That is really cool.
It is cool, but I'm tripped out by it. I'm tripped out for it. And I talked to my wife, and she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. She's like, listen, don't make it. It's not about you. Do not make this about this. You need to show up with a gift. I'm like, a gift? She told me this like 2 days. I'm like, a gift? What am I? She's like, you have to give him a whole package. Have a bag with shirts. It's like, what? I had to call Joe Sib. Like, we got a data push. Like, how long did you know you're going to do this? You can't, Jim. If I'm working the Gap and the Gap is having a gathering and the customers are gathering, you got to give them clothes or something. Like, I don't know how to do this stuff. I don't know. I'm a guy and just come and hang out. I don't think I'm supposed to bring a gift. Like, what am I doing? They organize a barbecue and all these events. So it's cool. Joe came up with Joe. What are those laminates you came? And I hope you guys think this. We came. Do you have the laminate? Look, by the way, look at Joe Sib. How I like him with colors, man.
Oh, wow, Joe.
Right?
Hold on, let me take this out.
Aloha. Or can we not say that? I don't even know anymore.
Check out my shoes too, dude. I got colored shoes.
Oh, dude, those Vans are nice, man.
Because of the colors.
Yes, I know
I feel
you.
like I'm in a better. I feel happy. I don't know.
You look happy. This is really good.
No, are you talking for the today, the barbecue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is cool, right? I don't know. So again,
we had 24 hours to make some.
I know we had 24 hours to make some. I should have done better, but I can't. I was telling them, I'm like, I'm excited, but I'm also a little.
Hey, you're tripping. I can tell you're tripping.
And not. I don't have any bad feelings. I'm like, I don't want to let them down. I don't know what to expect.
I think you know what it is. All these people, like they sent us a video last night.
Yes, I got videos, and I would show them, but I don't want to. I don't have their permit. I didn't ask them, so I'm not going to show you guys.
It makes Thanksgiving seem like not even an event of what they've got in store for you.
Yes, like you should have seen them getting together last night. Like they were
ribs, brisket.
They were hanging out. They're cooking. It's so anyway.
Yeah. So
they're making decorations. So this is all we have. And I know you're a guy, Mike, so you're just gonna be like, you're not even gonna care. But I'm curious to see the comments from women, like when it comes to gifts. And I know this. Listen, I'm gonna figure out something for them after today.
We'll make a shirt next time. We'll do something special. What up, Mike?
What's up, Joe?
Or you know what? You know what we should do?
Yes.
After today, we'll make a shirt just for them, and we'll ask all their sizes.
There you go.
And we'll have barbecue, Tampa barbecue, Brew Crew barbecue.
There you go.
There you go.
Brew Crew barbecue, Tampa.
Brewbecue.
Boom.
So we made him a
right? We made him.
Oh, nice. Dude, for whipping that up, that's pretty sweet, man.
Do you like that?
That's pretty sweet. I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Our graphic guy literally, he was in his car. And I'm like, bro, we need. He's like, but he's totally used to that. So he was like, I'll throw Tampa on there. They can wear it at the show tonight.
Yeah. That's cool, right?
Hell yeah.
All right. I think.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think you're just tripping out because all these people are inviting you to a private barbecue about you. It's kind of like going to a funeral, but you're alive. That's what it's like.
It's a life celebration.
Yeah, it's a life celebration, but you got to walk out of it.
So you're.
I mean, I can see where Breuer's coming from because you do your shows, then you do your meet and greet, and it's kind of like okay, everybody's like on their own. But this is like there's no show; they're just coming to hang out. I get it.
But there is a show. They're all coming to. They're flying in from around the country.
Right.
They gathered last night. They're totally hanging today. Then they're all going to the show. Like we're all gonna hang out at the barbecue. Then we're gonna go to the show, and then.
Dude, I'm gonna wedge so much.
That's all he talks about.
I've been seriously, Mike. When he told me about this, and I said they're gonna barbecue, he said yeah. And then last night when I saw the video, I have been thinking about brisket since I'm going on 24 hours of thinking of brisket and ribs.
If the barbecue's really good, we will promote. Like all right, so we're going crazy with our ideas here. We do a lot of. We've been talking about like, okay, so if this goes well, then we'll have an event again, and then he'll be the guy that he's the barbecue guy, and then we'll
show at night, and then I will say that it would be so rad if people could sit around and do like a coffee and like talk comedy and like have Jim do the like story.
Do a Q&A.
Yeah, just like hey,
give the whole weekend of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this can grow into something.
Yeah. I think so.
I think it's gonna turn into something.
Anyway,
let me know when you need the phone.
I'm gonna need it pretty sooner than later.
All right, here I'm gonna give it to you right now.
Okay.
There you go.
Because I can't. I got shit. Yeah, don't worry about it. Sorry. So that's what's going on today in Tampa. And by the way, the new stuff. There's some. I was pretty excited. I'm really glad I filmed it all, but there's some really I was excited about the newer stuff. I just did 2 shows with Joe somewhere else, and the shows were good. People were happy and all excited. I'm like, I got to be passionate about what I'm talking about, and I'm pretty passionate. So, all right, I'm all over the place. I want to keep us focused on something here, Mike.
Yep.
We need to grow this year. I am going to work on this. I'm showing James, the kid, my house. We're talking about studio. We're going to actually look. I know I keep talking about studio, but it has to happen. I got too many ideas for us to expand. Are you still getting Serpents of
Oh
Society?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to encourage everyone to keep writing. Keep sending it to Mike the Sound Guy and jimbrewer.com. You sent me something the other day too. We don't have to play it right now.
Yeah, I sent you a few. We got a bunch of messages on the website, and I think the majority, there was one like, "Hey Jim, thanks for all you do," and the rest of them were all Serpents of Humanity songs.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that everyone's getting so creative. But I have all these ideas I want to start putting out there and creating, but we're trying to figure out how to step it up, how to.
Oh, we also started getting messages about community issues, like in people's areas where they live, like the HOAs and stuff. We're starting to get those. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get those. Have you been looking on my on that community? Don't say which one it is.
What, on yours?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But you know which one it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. If you have them, here's what I want to give to the listeners. If you have specific community Facebook things that are hilarious, where people think they're the government and you need boards, and like I have I got to bring this guy on. You can't even make this up. So he was staying at this community for 3 months. You were not allowed to park a Jeep. You're not allowed to park a Jeep. A Jeep, not an RV. You can have an RV, you can have specifically a Jeep. I believe it was Wrangler. You heard that story, right?
No.
You didn't hear this?
No.
I gotta have him on. What? But the point of the story is we need these stories. All right. So I'm asking you, send them to jimbrewer.com, Mike the Sound Guy, whatever, because we want to read them. We'll read them as characters. We're definitely going to do this for an entire, maybe a whole episode. I think we'd have a ball doing this. The other thing is, for the bunkers, send your bunker in. If you got a little bunker, if you got a little video of yourself as the bunker, send it. Send it. Let's start involving you more and go get that. That would be, I want to start involving you, the listener, you, the viewer, a lot more. Because I get them on the Instagram, like, dude, talk about this. If you have your own little specific thing, send it. Send yourself as a video. I'd love to start putting that out there, which I'm going to show you today, just little videos I found just in general, or people that sent me in general that I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Anyway, I got shows coming up, so go to jimbrewer.com. And now I'm really stoked about the shows. I'm always stoked about the shows, but now I'm really stoked with this newer material. All right. This really hit me. All right. I got a message from a fan. And another thing, Mike. If anyone sees videos or anyone's out there that don't like me or don't like the stuff I put out there for a specific reason and they want to talk about it, let's do that. Like we said last week, a lot of people responded to, let's have a conversation. Two opposite ends. Let's just have a conversation. Real people conversation. All right. So, all right. Just things to keep in mind where I need you to help, the listener to help to keep us on track. All right. If you've seen some of other episodes that I've done, you know how I tell stories that have happened where we call them, one of my Patreon members calls them God winks, meaning little winks from God, like a little, hey, just to let you know I'm around. And I'll say funny how God works. So I get this message, and it made me think or reconfirm how the messages you put out there and what comes back. So I want to do this, and then I got something funny to put out there. Here's the message. In 2018, my lady and I lost twins, stillborn, 22 weeks. We were devastated. We had named them Chris and Chester after our favorite artists who so-called killed themselves. The angel part of this story actually comes after we found out she was pregnant. When we were excited and going to the second scan and we're told, hey, it's twins. The first scan only showed one. And we were so blown away. We walked out of the clinic and around the corner and across the road. And coming towards us were two identical twin teenagers who had Harry Potter glasses like I had as a teenager and long hair like I had in my 20s. We both looked at them as they approached. And I thought, whoa, what a coincidence. What a coincidence. They passed us. We turned around to look a few seconds later and they were gone. They were just gone. If you were to ask me, those were my two boys. Those were my boys sent to me at our happiest when we just found out about them. I wanted to share that with you since hearing the Gabrielle homeless guy story. So it sounds like he still lost his children. So the moral of the story is, I told you guys a story about my daughter, my oldest daughter, who's now, it's called Finding a Kiwi. If you want to follow them on Instagram or whatever, they do podcasts and she journals. I think she's an incredible writer. Her boyfriend Noah does things, talking about food and stuff, but check them out if you want to check them out. I love listening to the podcast. And it was one of those moments in time where, what is that? And long story short, I told this story before. We didn't have a name for her. I wanted to be an angel, to represent an angel, because I had all these feelings of, there's an angel coming to me, and blah, blah, blah. And we couldn't come up with a name. And my wife suggested the name Gabrielle. And I was like, I don't know. It's Gabby, blah, blah. And a long story short, I forgot what episode this is on, so I don't want to rehash the whole thing. But at the end of the day, we're about maybe a week from her being born, and we didn't know if it was a boy or girl. We don't find out. None of that. Everything is surprise, everything natural, blah, blah. And we went to Central Park, and my wife's taking a nap. She didn't know it. However, I start thinking of the name Gabrielle, but I don't tell her that. And all of a sudden, she wakes up. We start walking back to the apartment that we lived in New York City, and a guy comes out of nowhere, fairly aggressively. But like I said, I didn't feel any bad vibes from him. It was just bizarre. He went right up to my wife and he said, "Oh, you're having a baby, a beautiful baby girl." And we said, we don't know what it is. And he went, "No, you're having that's a little girl. And do you have a name for her?" And I was like, "Listen, man, we don't know the name." And I'm walking away and I'm sizing him up. Like, is this guy going to be a problem? And he starts following us. And he goes, "Do you have a name for her?" And I said, "Hey, man, we don't know." He goes, "How about Gabrielle? She's a little angel. There you go, a little angel. Name her Gabrielle." And my wife and I are just like, whoa, what the? Like, every hair in our body stood up. Like, what? Some people say oh, that's just a coincidence. And then he literally just turned around, he put his arms out, he said, yeah, it's going to be beautiful here on Sunday. And he just mixed in with the crowd and walked away. And we're like, what the? Some people are like, oh, so you let a homeless guy name your kid? Like, what is that? You can't tell me that's just a coincidence, because I've had too much of that in my life. But the point of this guy, no matter what you get out of that story, here's someone that, like so many people, have dealt with so much. That's a lot of trauma and pain. And he found the angelic, higher, deeper, spiritual, feel-good side in this dark place. And it was sparked from a story that I told you all that is true. And so, I don't know, I just feel we're at a state where we all have to realize there is a higher frequency, there is a higher level, there is a deeper spiritual thing. Spirit keeps us all connected. Spirit does. Our spirit, our soul, not science and whatever this madness world created. That's why I like going to Africa. I know this sounds crazy, but I like looking at original people and go, how did we go from living for the day, watching the way they live, and they have, I would go to this village, and their house is basically, when we were kids, building a fort. Like, oh wow, they got, like when you build a fort, you got your friends, and you go in the basement, and you get a table and some blankets, and oh my God, I got a big jacket, and you get my bike, and the bike will be this part, and then you inside, like this area will be the couch, and this area will be that, and that's, some of them live like that. This is like the greatest of that, and that feeling you have as a kid, like, look at my fort. You go in there, isn't this cool? You can stand in it, and you can walk around. This is where we'll cook, and we'll have a little hole here, like it just opens up in the tent. Whatever, you're in our fort, and we open this up, and we can cook through here and put our hand, we look out. That's the way a lot of natural humans still live, and they love it. There is no voting on, so who do you think should be on the council? And hey, you know what? You got to be to school at 7 a.m. To learn what? We're connected so much deeper. And when you put something beautiful out, or you put a true story out, and it just makes people go, huh? And again, I think that's one of those stories where, like, most people go, I'm not religious, but I do get that story. Or I do, but I just thought that was a powerful, it reconfirmed some stories I should really put out there. I used to worry about, like, what will other comics think, or what. I don't care what they think. I don't care what other people think, as long as it connects on a deeper level, and it's great intention, and it can help us elevate our lives. Well, then so be it. No harm done. And I used to be so afraid to put that stuff out there, but I'm not. I'm not anymore. Not anymore. It's that was so. Again, keep the messages coming. Go on my Instagram, DM me. If you're on Patreon, you know the deal. Because it does change lives. It changes lives. I don't know this person from a hole in the wall, and they inspired me to keep helping others with such a powerful story like that. Anyway, okay, now switching gears. God, I love this Airbnb. So, Mike, I sent you a video. So you got to understand something. I grew up in Chester, New Jersey. Well, I didn't grow up in Chester. I grew up in Long Island, but I lived in Chester, New Jersey for a long time through my Maria's crew, the coffee crew. And my kids grew up with this incredible family friend of ours. And this kid was always lot of charisma in this kid, a lot of character, always funny, always upbeat, always full of energy. Hey, Mr. Breuer, hey, Mr. Breuer. He would always talk to my dad. He would ask my dad about World War II when he come over. So I was always really impressed by this kid and their family, to be quite honest with you. And so he went to school, he went to college, and he's still at college. And he called me up about, I don't know, a couple months ago. And he's like, hey, Mr. Brew, hey, Mr. B, Mr. Breuer, how are you, blah, blah. Can I need to talk to you about something. I said, okay, shoot. Kid's name is Luke. I said, go ahead, what's up, Luke? And he goes, Mr. Breuer, I get college is good, blah, 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 but I want to be an entertainer. I want to act. I want this. I want that. And so, okay. And I basically told this kid, listen, I've known you your whole life, which I have. And I said, I knew from the day I met you, you definitely belong in that world. I don't know how. You are an entertainer. You show up. You are the ringleader. You always holding court. You're the leader of your group. I've seen it. You've got a great sense of humor, great character about you. You're very young, so you got your whole life ahead of you. And I'm like, what do you really want? Well, I want a podcast. Well, what stops you right now? Well, everyone thinks it's this big major. I said, I started on my phone. So we're talking now for probably two hours plus. I said, listen, you gotta just start walking in that direction. Walk in that direction. If you're going to learn about computers, you're going to do one, for an hour a day, 20 minutes a day. No, you're going full blown in. Then I hear about 3 weeks later, he's like, Mr. Breuer, oh my God, this is incredible. I went to the school thing in the podcast, and me and my friend now making a podcast, and he's in it. He's trying to figure it out. Then he hooked up, I don't know, the college world, some college group. I don't know if they're a band. I don't know if they're a party group. I don't know. I don't know that generation. And he's like, and they got me like helping them tour, and imagine the tour. They're huge. They've got this 1 million people following them. And I asked my daughter, like, hey, did you see what Luke? She's like, oh my God, he hooked up with blah, blah, blah. They're huge. Like, that's a man. I'm like, wow. So 3 days ago, I'm going through videos, TikTok, and I see this kid. I see Luke. And I think this kid found his name, and he texts, he's like, Mr. Breuer, we got 200,000 views. Like, this is crazy. So I'm super excited for this guy. Super excited for him. And I write him like, hey, sometimes you're gonna have a lot of views, sometimes you're not gonna have any views. Sometimes you're gonna have comments going, you're the greatest in the world, and someone gonna say you're a piece of garbage, die, go to hell, you're a nobody, and you'll never be anyone. Just as long as you know that, that's what it is, and there's a place for everyone. Okay. But here's his here's the video if you want to start following him or check him out. And he has no clue on my life. He has no clue I'm talking about him. And he has no clue I'm going to show this video. All I can tell you, whether you like the content or not, now remember, he's a college kid. A lot of us are, a lot of you are my age. Maybe you're older, maybe you're younger, maybe you're little kids. And I always try to reflect and think about where were you when you were 19, 20, 21 years old? Where were you at that stage? What were you doing? What were you wearing? What was your Friday and Saturday nights? Who were you dating? What did your hair look like? How were you dressed when you were 19, 20, 21? And I think about me. I just started acting, and I was in an acting class, and I didn't do stand-up comedy and all that jazz. So at the end of the day, I'm super stoked for this kid. I don't know where he's going to go, but it's exciting to see someone want to achieve a goal, and then you talk with them, and now he's off and running, and we still check in and blah blah blah. So here, play that video by. And I love the name. His name's Luke, so he calls us lukewarm. He gets his friend, and it's just like a conversation thing, you know.
All right, lukewarm take. Fake tans.
Luke is the one with the white hoodie.
I don't know what. Listen, I don't know what you can expect. We go to school at Penn State. It's like cloudy and 10 degrees year round. You're not getting, you're not exactly soaking up. Yeah, you're not soaking up cosmic rays all the time.
I get that, but listen, this is not an excuse, and I know I'm gonna offend a lot of girls when I say
Oh
it.
my God.
This is not an excuse. I understand you want to look tan. That does not mean we go Willy Wonka Oompa Loompa in the fucking campus. We don't do that.
Listen, everybody knows Sunday is International Laundry Day because every sheet in State College is soaked with orange tanner. Now, me personally, I don't mind self-tanner.
Yeah.
But if you're walking around looking like Donald Trump,
listen, if you're making your roommate, if you're making Bethany every 4 nights out of the week rub you down with her old oven mitts, and your sheets are just destroyed, by the end of the week, you smell like garbage. You look like, Donald Trump in 2015, 16, before he ran. That's just an issue for me. I don't think it's a problem if you don't go 2OD.
Yeah, listen, I think a self-tan could look good. I do. I won't call these wonderful self-tanners
Everyone looks
out.
better tan.
I do agree with that. But, I mean, you're telling me that you don't notice all the streaks running down your body?
God.
You look like a spotted leopard,
the night after a sorority
going on?
formal? The night after a sorority formal?
Dude, holy shit.
God.
Every washer in East Halls is taken up, dude. You cannot do laundry. Personally,
We've tried.
I think self-tanner's okay. Everything in moderation. You let us know what you think. Hot or cold?
Whether you like that or not, I was like, Luke, you look. First of all, you guys are totally authentic. They're just honest, truthful. Are they going to cross the line once in a while? Most likely. But I just like anyone out there, when you finally find a passionate direction, you're not going to knock it out of the box. You're not going to knock it out of the box right away. I'm like my daughter's seeing, they're in New Zealand doing a podcast. Her boyfriend Noah, he does his podcast, blah blah, on cooking. He loves food. He loves cooking. He's into that world the way I am into comedy and acting and all this other jazz and whatever, right? So he's getting frustrated, and he's like, yeah, not a lot of people, because it takes a long time to figure out your craft. Sometimes it takes 10 years, 15 years. And this is what I try to explain to anyone going to the college world. Even my daughter who's looking at colleges right now. I'm like, listen, this is such a drip in your whole lifetime journey. If you're passionate about something, just go in that direction and trust. If you know, like this kid Noah, he's a great cook. He's got the passion. And if you know that, I want to tell him, listen, Noah, at the end of the day, if you know that, just trust it'll eventually happen. The podcast will take off. You may be one of the greatest chefs. You may have your own show. You may, whatever it is, it will come if you're passionate and you know you're good. Like when I was starting off stand-up, I was so frustrated because it was like, how? And I remember doing open mic night. And I remember my first time, I thought I did so good that I was pissed I wasn't discovered. I was pissed. Like, how did they not? I'm in New York. How did the agents and managers not see what just went down here in 1985 at Governor's Open Mic Night, Long Island? How is that possible? I am straight out of high school. I just crushed it. I'm a good-looking guy. I got my dangling cross earring. I got a lot going on right now. How am I not a star now? And then I started going back a couple more times. And I'm like, what the? And then I thought my material was so brilliant. I had this bit where I was talking about New York pigeons compared to Long Island birds and pigeons, and I thought it was brilliant. And then I'd see some other people trying, like, hey man, they're stealing from me. And every time I would do something, you know, it's like four or five straight weeks into it, I'm like, why isn't anyone discovering me? Like, what? And then I'd bomb. And then you come to a road where you go, oh, so you don't make it big overnight. Oh, so you have to work really hard to accomplish things. Oh, so this may take a little long. And then you start asking myself, like, all right, this guy's a headliner on stage. How long did it take you before you were a headliner? Oh my God, it took me like 7 years. 7 years? Oh my God, to come up with an hour material that's really bone crushing, like 7 years. Oh yeah, and some people can't even pull that off. So with anything in life, as long as it's passionate, it's for a good cause. A good cause. I want to make people laugh. I want to make people feel better. I want them to feel spiritually better. Do I always hit the mark? No. But that's what I want. It's the intention. This kid right now, Luke, his intention is, I want to be in the entertainment world, and he's now making the move. 5 months ago, he was trying to figure things out. Now he's making these little videos, and he may take 3 or 4 or 5 more turns before he lands his mark, and who knows what he'll become, but he won't figure it out until he's in it, and now he's in it. Noah, he started his podcast with my daughter, and the two of them, they're only October, November, December, January, February. They're 4 months into it. 4 months. No, it's not as big as I thought it'd be. 4 months. I have one video and there's 1 million people watching. Watch the next video and 14 people watching. It's the way it goes. Win some, lose some, win some. It's the way it goes. But the consistent level, as you grow, you need to grow. You need to allow yourself to grow. And this is what I tell Luke and all these young people too. Told my daughter this. Listen, is anyone 19 years old and they got 1 billion followers? And if they are, why do they have 1 billion followers? Like, what got them there? And how long do they stay on? Like, the ratio of blowing up instantly is not in your favor. You just got to trust. Do it for the right reason. Let's do it. All right. So that's Luke. I'm super excited for Luke, and I want updates on Luke. Now I got this other idea, Mike.
What's that?
I want to play this guy. Someone on the one of the listeners sent me, like, you got to listen to this guy. And he goes, I found your Serpents of Humanity guy. I went, oh, really? And he sent me a video of, it's called The Conspiracy Music Guru. That's the name of I don't know his name, Conspiracy Music Guru. And the video they sent was, he clearly is trying to sound like Metallica, Sad But True. Forgot the name of the song. So I went on his YouTube page, and then I realized this guy is doing everything I want to do. And what I mean by that is, I, for the longest time, wanted to do funny musical stuff and real musical stuff, but in every chart. Remember we talked about it here, where he said, let's do Serpents of Society. We're going to do a jazz version. from one of the lyrics. Remember that, Mike?
Yep.
And then a rock metal version, one of them. And there's still, we'll figure this out. Maybe it's with this guy. I don't know. We'll figure this out once you have the deadline, which I'll put out there. So keep everything coming. Be creative. Put your creativity out there. But this guy, whether you like him or not, now I'm watching his stuff, and he's got, like real country. Then he's got like hard rock metal. Then he's got a blues thing. I like the blues one. It's called "I Told You So." I told you so. It's. I don't know. I started thinking this might be fun to do a show with. Like I could be crazy. And these are the type of things where I want us to go. Like I'd love to have this guy on the show, performing and talking and all that jazz. This is his channel. So that was almost more like a podcast thing, like just giving information.
I sold my soul to the devil, featuring Bob Dylan.
Let's check that out.
I was down to talk to my doctor.
Well, I sold my soul to the devil. I sold it for fortune and for fame. Well, I'm starting to regret my decision. I wish I had my soul back again.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out there? Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a tough bargain with it, long time ago, and I'm holding up my hand.
I want to get this guy. We have to get this guy. It's my mission. I have to get him. I freaking love this guy. I'm fascinated by this guy. All right, so let me start getting ready. I'm going to this event for my Patreon members who've done such a incredible thing. I mean, they are, I don't know, I'm still blown away by this. Like they're building their own little friendship and gathering, and I just started from this, which is it's pretty wild. So anyway, I want to say put good things out there. We are definitely getting, you guys got to keep on us with being creative, putting great messages out there, constantly coming up with more content, building the studio to a whole new level, and just enjoying everything that's out there. The creativity that's coming out there is pretty incredible. Mike, thanks for today. Thanks for taking time today.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to head to this Patreon event. We're going to film everything. We'll let you know all about it. We'll talk about it next week. And I just can't thank all of you enough. I wish Luke all the best from Lukewarm. Also, the Conspiracy Music Guru. Hope to get you on the show and talk to you. And I'd love it if we could pull off some shows together. I think that'd be cool as hell. So with that said, thanks for hanging out today on the Breuniverse. I had this was an interesting one for me. There's a lot going on. So let me continue. Don't forget also that first Funny How God Works show is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it should be up there on jimbrew.com. And if it's not, I'll get it up there sooner than later. Thanks for always being there, and we'll see you next week on the Breuniverse. Take care, Mike.
Take care, man.
Take a look around and what do you see? Lock the date down tonight, we'll make it history.
Hey, this is Jim Breuer, and I got my own Patreon page, and hopefully you'll check it out. Live
comedy concert streamed once a month. Weekly, you host your own podcast and you interview me. Early access to the Breuniverse podcast every single week, and have bonus footage and bonus segments. I promise you I'm not going to let you down. Go check out my official Jim Breuer Patreon page, and I'll see you there.